to Nitin ji. Nitin ji, share few attributes of a successful trainer, and anything whatever comes to your mind from your experiences.
Yeah, very standard response. It may sound very standard response and very cliche one, Pankaj, because we talked.
Pankaj, suddenly I started feeling very important because on 76th celebration or year of celebration of our Independence Day, you're asking to share one message just like the Prime Minister is being asked for sharing the message. But
the training L&D landscape is changing very fast. बहुत ज़्यादा तेजी से बदलाव आ रहे हैं. AI is impacting our lives in a big way.
I believe in one thing, that a training head should have the courage of asking these questions to the business.
When Nitin ji was talking about how you make the participants feel great about themselves, that's an essence of being a great trainer.
So the turning point is that no, that you can't do it was a big push that came up.
हिंदी में उन्होंने बोला, तुम जवानी में क्यों बूढ़े होना चाहते हो?
कि दीवारों इंसान को दीवारों से ही हो जाता है अक्सर प्यार. इंसान को दीवारों से भी प्यार हो जाता है अक्सर, तभी बढ़ती उम्र के साथ छोड़ नहीं पाता वह अपनी जमीन, अपना घर. उन दीवारों पर टांग कर तस्वीरें अतीत की बार बार जीता है अपनी यादों.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining for this wonderful, amazing podcast, especially for the Milind's Forum. The thought came into my mind that I'm doing so many things with other people. Why not something to be done with our group of people? And this group has something, which is very, very special, very, very unique, which keeps all of us intact with each other. So thank you so much for joining on the 76th Independence Day. The name of this podcast, what I thought of to keeping the turning point. I feel that this podcast will be very helpful and very useful for all our training colleagues, trainers, L&D professionals, HR professionals, and the people, those who are aspiring to become a successful trainer. Right. So thank you so much for joining for this podcast. I'll begin this with the small introduction. So we have Rachana Narayan from Cadila Pharmaceuticals. We have Ram, Ram is from Sun Pharma. ओ सॉरी नितिन जी को मैं याद कर रहा था, दिमाग में वही था फाइजर करके. नितिन जी देखिए आपका इम्पैक्ट कितना गहरा है मेरे दिमाग पे, समझ सकते हैं आप. अभी पीपल वर ऑल वर वेटिंग फॉर यू टू कम एंड मैंने अभी.
नमस्ते सर.
Ashish is from Wellness Forever, and we have our beloved Nitin Kagalkarji. Forever, we all have seen Kagalkarji's amazing, inspiring, dashing, and full of knowledge, right? And we will be having Mr. Sushil Barkud also from Alkem. And he is whatnot, the speaker, mentor, coach, and everything. So we have all these wonderful people and the colleagues here today on this platform. So my first question to Rachana. Rachana, kindly give your just brief introduction and please share one thought which you would like to share with all of our audience on the 76th Independence Day, and welcome to the Turning Point podcast.
Thank you, Pankaj. I'm Rachana Narayan, and I'm currently working as a head of R&D HR function, as well as leading the L&D function for manufacturing. I have around 17 years of experience with more than 12, 13 years in the area of HR and L&D. So one thought which comes to my mind on the 76th Independence Day is, the theme for this year has been nation first and always first. So when I think about this, what I feel is we as an individuals, when we work with the full intention of giving our best and doing the best for the people, keeping the people first, keeping our family first, keeping the organization first, we truly live to the spirit of nation first, because that's where we contribute to the nation at large. So whatever you are doing, always think, what you can contribute to what you can contribute to your loved ones, what you can contribute to the people at large, because that automatically will get resulted into the work what you do for the nation.
Rachana, let me talk something about Rachana. Rachana, I worked with very closely with Rachana, and she has been a guide to me, especially my initial days of Zydus. And Rachana is full of, what I should say. She's a very good poet. वो जब भी बोलती हैं हिंदी वाली पोएम स्पेशली इतने इमोशनल और इतने हार्ट से बोलती हैं पूरा गूज बम्स आने लगते हैं शी इज फुल ऑफ इमोशंस होकर के बिकॉज आई हैव सीन दैट फेज ऑफ रचना रचना समथिंग ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट इफ इट इज कमिंग इनटू योर माइंड व्हेनेवर ड्यूरिंग दिस पॉडकास्ट जस्ट इंडिकेट मी we want that people should really learn that because very few people they have that essence in them. Yeah.
So, always the lines which are very inspiring to me as a person comes from Rashmi Rati. And this is written by, I know that all of you would have read that, written by our Rashtra Kavi Ramdhari Singh Dinkar. So, he writes, हम ठोक ठेलता है जब नर पर्वत के जाते पांव उखड़ हम ठोक ठेलता है जब नर पर्वत के जाते पांव उखड़ मानो जब जोर लगाता है पत्थर पानी बन जाता है तो these are the lines which are very close to my heart. There are many lines, but this is one thing which is very inspiring, that when you want something with your whole heart and when you put all your efforts to it, anything is possible. There is nothing which is impossible in this world. So just put your heart, soul, mind to whatever you want to do, and then it is achievable. It can be done.
Very good. बहुत बढ़िया रचना थैंक यू सो मच मैं तो आई एम जस्ट फीलिंग द वे यू स्टार्टेड कि मैं वो पुराने दिन वापस से जीने लगा हूँ okay so thank you so much for this wonderful thought for sharing for especially on the 76th independence day now coming to Nitin ji thank you so much for joining and what is the message you would like to communicate on this special occasion?
I think the freedom that we have today should be valued. I guess there are many people in our history who have fought for this freedom, and I somehow feel that they are receding into background for most of us, especially young majority of our country. So that's one thing, one thought that comes to our mind today. Second thought, I think, which is perennial in our mind, is that with freedom comes responsibility, and we have that. The biggest blessing that we have is the freedom to choose, freedom to say yes or no to whatever we want to, and that's where our impact lies. What we say yes to and what we choose to say no to, whether it is in a social milieu or academic or personal life. Every moment we are faced with this choice of using our freedom. How we use it is very important, and that's our responsibility. Thank you.
Yeah, Nitinji, there are so many questions, which I would like to ask you. What keeps you so fluid? What keeps you so flexible? What keeps you so passionate? Because Miss, it's a plethora of questions which we will be going to discuss today. And I'll keep these all questions reserved for the coming time for this podcast. So let's learn from Ram. So Ramanathan, thank you so much for joining. What is the message you would like to convey on the 76th Independence Day?
So for 75 years, we, as a nation, we have progressed so much in terms of freedom, even at the interiors. But the most prevalent meaning of freedom is to be able to live according to the whims and fancies of the mind. But now we need to move away from this as a nation and as an individual first. And to really appreciate the meaning of freedom, we have to understand the meaning of bondage. So bondage is dependence on things without which one feels that we cannot function. For example, after getting up in the morning without a cup of coffee, some people can't move on. Or when you want to sleep without that pillow, you cannot move on. So bondage is also caused in the mind, due to which we form likes and dislikes. And because of this, there is a like and dislike that happens, and the I becomes I like this, I don't like this, and the I becomes very prominent. And this I the ego, one has to overcome this ego. And there comes the real freedom. That's the freedom of doing what you want to do, but still not doing it. Meaning, uh, I want to eat. I have everything to eat, but I still choose not to eat, and I do fasting. You know, at and when you go at the subtlest level, when you're able to overcome this ego, that's where you get a liberated mind, and that is real freedom. I'm not sure whether I've been able to convey what I want to convey.
We got mesmerized, we were in the flow with you when you were sharing about these all, the wisdom nuggets. Yeah, so that was the reason we all were keep, quiet and learning from the words what you were sharing. I remember here one, the incidents of, when Rama used to come back after, defeating Ravan. तो कौशल्या पूछती है कि राम तुमने राम को मारा, तो बोलते हैं माँ राम को मैंने नहीं मारा, राम को मैंने मारा.
Ravan को.
So that the way you depicted the importance of what people felt and then how things happens. It has a lot of, the meaning, the beneath kind of incidences and like this. Very, very important. Thanks for sharing this. Now coming to Ashish. Ashish ji, what is the message which you would like to convey?
Right. Thank you, Pankaj. I think thank you for including me with this, team of August L&D professionals, I should say. What I would like to say is, India's 76th Independence Day is a reminder of our unity in diversity and a journey towards progress. So let us come together, celebrate our achievements, honor our heritage, and commit to a future of inclusivity, innovation, and sustainable growth for all. In short, I think that is the message that I would like to give to our colleagues.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your thought on this, Ashish. Now, coming to the very important question for which we know we have kept the name is as a turning point. So, in the life of everyone, each one of us, there are so many turning points we go through. Whenever I see, the people, old people, 60 years, 70 years, 75 years, I always used to tell my wife, they are not people, they are consisting of lot of n number of stories. And they are the living live books. If you just sit with them, ask them, look into their eyes, go with the flow, the moments they shared, the struggle they overcome upon, the time they have seen into their life. So now coming to these turning points of our life. So Rachana, starting with you, share two turning points which you feel, which was the most difficult, seems to be most difficult, but which has given you the courage to overcome, and what made you to overcome upon those, the hurdles, problems, and the big mountains, whatever you call it, and how have you felt of after, overcoming all those challenges?
So, in all of our lives, we do face, many obstacles like that, where we feel कि यार ये क्यों हुआ और मेरे साथ ही क्यों. So, one I'll share, which happened during COVID times. I got in the second wave, I got COVID, and it was very serious. For the first 7 days, I had mild symptoms, and suddenly on the 8th day, there was a peak, and my blood pressure dropped down tremendously, and doctor had said that abhi aap ja karke hospitalize ho jao because this doesn't seem to be normal. So I got hospitalized, and then my husband also got detected with COVID. I was in the hospital, and in the morning my oxygen dropped. Suddenly it dropped, and when I got up for my tea, I fell down. So they put me on oxygen. My husband, because he was at home and my daughter was at home. after my hospitalization, she also got positive, and my husband's oxygen was also dropping. So it came to around 80, 85. And then, the second wave, it was at the peak. We were not getting hospital. Luckily, we got one hospital. And because the doctor was our very good friend, he said that he was able to, make one more bed available for him. Now, there is no one else at home. My husband is positive and he also has to be hospitalized with oxygen dropping down. And daughter is also positive now. So doctor was kind enough to say कि इसको भी आप hospital में रख लो. So both of us were hospitalized. Both of us were on oxygen. I was on remdesivir, and luckily I was getting feeling better now. मेरा oxygen level थोड़ा बढ़ने लगा था, but just imagine the state of the mind when you see your husband also, struggling for the oxygen, and your daughter also getting COVID positive. In the meantime, since I was heading the HR function for one of the businesses, I was getting lots of calls for people to be hospitalized. I had to help them because I just could not resist myself. So scenario was very, very bad. And it so happened that, when my husband got hospitalized, the next day doctor said कि इनकी condition अच्छी नहीं लग रही है, मुझे लगता है कि इनको ventilator पे रखना पड़ेगा. So you arrange a bed also. I cannot tell you how helpless I was feeling because, there is no one who can come and help us in that condition. Did try out, with my colleagues and with my superiors and friends to arrange a bed. But I was feeling hopeful कि ये ठीक हो जाएगा. Remdesivir का dose गया है तो अभी ठीक हो जाएगा. The next day doctor said कि yes, miracle has happened, nothing to worry. And he is getting better and control में है और अभी ठीक हो जाए. So that was one incident which I feel, it was very, very difficult. And I think many people suffered this kind of situation during COVID. So, that teaches, life has, you just don't have control on many things in your lives. But when you don't have control, probably you have to keep yourself positive and have very strong will. So that you can overcome those situations and see to it that your other loved ones don't get panicked because of this situation. That was one learning in my life. The second one, I'll say, when I decided to move into training, I think that was also one of the turning points in my life. I come from the technical background. So with a master's in biotechnology, and I was working in medical department. And then I decided that I have to come into training, and there was a struggle happening between medical and training. I attended this training program, which was basically on 7 Habits of Effective People by Stephen Covey. And during this training program, I created a mission statement. So there is an activity where you create your mission and vision statement. And I don't know what happened, but I created this transforming lives. My mission should be to transform lives. And I think that helped me a lot to find my way. And that's how I moved into L&D and then into HR. And I think that was a turning point because I took a strong decision. No, this is what I want to do. So these are the turning points.
Wonderful.
In my life.
Thank you so much. So inspiring. Suddenly, हमारे ग्रुप में एकदम एक लाइट फ्लैश हुई आपको. Have you realized in between? I realized Sushil sir has, and just, entered, and then, sir, welcome for this podcast. Lovely.
Pankaj, I must say, I got inspired from his training programs. So, when I was in Torrent and he used to take training sessions, I used to feel that, यार, ऐसा कुछ बनना है मुझे.
Sushil sir, you're on mute. Please unmute कीजिए.
Sushil ji, this is not the first person I'm hearing talking about, somebody inspired with your training.
He can make it visualized, any difficult scenario also, any medical aspect also. वो पूरा का पूरा वो अपने एक्शन से आपको दिखा देंगे. आप उसको लिव करने लगोगे. So that kind of trainer he is.
Thank you so much. And in fact, Chana, I was just listening to Rachana when she was sharing her life turning events, these turning points in life. Really inspiring, Rachana, and thank you very much for your kind words. Right, I don't know that whether I deserve that kind of a thing, correct, or the appreciation which you have given. But I know only one thing, that Pankaj and all of you have invited me here, so I just joined.
I should say thank you so much. In spite of having so much of in your plate, you were able to, take out time for this podcast and giving us a lot of values. Rachana, thank you so much. I can see that the emotion transferring happening between you and Sushil ji, Guru Shishya wala. मैं बताऊं, एक बारी आई वॉज इन दिल्ली में साकेत में एक मॉल है, वहां पर एक मॉल है, वहां पर देयर वाज अ कंपनी, सनोफी के एचआर हेड थे वहां पर, शर्मा शर्मा, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर हिज नेम एग्जैक्टली. सो उनसे मिलने के लिए उन्होंने बोला पंकज चलो कुछ पिज्जा विज़ा खा के आते हैं. तो हम लोग मॉल में बैठे थे. So there were 5-6 students. They were moving outside. They were coming 3-4 times and roaming around. Then यार बार-बार ये हमको क्यों देख रहे हैं? तो उसमें से फिर they entered into that pizza or that place and they said, "Sir, hi sir, how are you doing?" तो मैं बोला यार ये मेरे को बोल रहे हैं, इनको बोल रहे हैं. I was confused. Then वो बोले पंकज सर हम आपसे बात कर रहे हैं. मैंने बोला हाँ बोलिए ना, मैं आपको पहचाना नहीं. अरे सर आपको याद है आपको कॉलेज में एक बार लेक्चर लेने आए थे and we all were there in that group. Now we all got the job and we are working here. मैंने बोला my God, amazing. So we took a selfie and he sent his selfie to his professors and all these HODs also. बहुत अच्छा लगता है. What else we want? This is what the learning for the L&D people, training people, right? In the HR, we are. I always say that I'll reserve myself. I will not speak much. Okay. So now coming to Nitin sir, sir, turning point of your life, sir. Please mute.
Yes.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah. So there have been quite a few, Pankaj, as is true for I think everybody else here. I think the major one being one which has been responsible for my being here in this profession is that you won't believe this, Sushil, Ram, and Rachana, who know me. I was a very happy person as a child. And so when I reached my adulthood, I became very quiet, shy, and fearful of speaking. And it was so bad that my parents were concerned. And they said, if you did not change, you would not amount to anything. So a father arranged for a person who was very extrovert, and he would send me to this person every day for 1 hour. And I thought, no, it was such a painful task for me, going there. So I didn't enjoy it initially for 2-3 days, 4 days. And after 5th day, I enjoying, that kind of helped me get over my fear of speaking, then how to communicate. So he was by all means my first coach. And that helped me face my first interview of life, which was for Pfizer. And I got selected at the age of 20 years. And gradually my fear of speaking went, and now the rest is, as they said. Okay. And so there I found if I had not changed, if I had not got this mentor or coach, I would not have been in the job. It would have been difficult for me to get any job. And I was not interested in teaching, despite having been a postgraduate in chemistry. So very few options for me back then. But it was this, and that's why I'm sold on coaching, sold on training, sold on, one-to-one conversation, one-to-one intervention. So that was a turning point for me. If I hadn't met this person, I would not have been anything in my life. Yeah.
तो नितिन जी हमारी सबकी लाइफ में कोई ना कोई ऐसा एक व्यक्ति होता है ना. एक तो हमारे सामने एग्जांपल हमारे पॉडकास्ट में यहाँ पर है. कोई ना कोई होता है जो वो स्पार्क दे करके जाता है, which brings this fire in our heart and the mind, so that we become a trainer. Yeah. Right. So now coming to Ram, please share about the turning point of your life.
Yeah, probably I'd like to share my early experience in the early days of my career. When I've come from a humble background, and there was a time when my sister's marriage was fixed, and we were really in need of money. And at the time, quite a few friends who could have helped, but they did not help, and I was also not hesitating, not comfortable asking. And that's a time I really understood that you have to help yourself, and that's probably what made me really work hard, and that is what actually helped me in my life. That incident was, in my opinion, a big turning point in my life. Taught me a lot of things in lesson, a lot of lessons in life. The next one was, once I was doing my uh, ISAPS, Indian Society of Applied Behavioral Science. I was in the advanced lab. And before that, I was thinking that I was a very rational person and I never become emotional. And I thought that's the greatest virtue of mine. And there I was in the ISABs. I was in the lab. I was seeing people telling, "मुझे इधर जलन हो रहा है, मुझे इधर दर्द हो रहा है," and all these things. I said, "अरे ये क्या बकवास है? मुझे कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. आप लोगों को जलन दर्द सब बोल रहे हो. I'm not able to understand any of these things and all." And that's the first time I realized that I am not having any feelings at all. And that's the first time I realized how hollow my life had been, in that mask of being, very rational person. I had suppressed my emotions for a long part of my life. And then I came back home and I saw my daughter talking so beautifully about her feelings. She was telling, some occasion happened, and I said, I know, I understand you're very angry. She said, no, I'm not angry, I'm frustrated. And a 10-year-old girl talking, understanding the difference between being angry and frustrated. And here at that age, I was not even understanding what's happening inside me. And that made me realize, how much I had suppressed feelings and all these things. And this is an essential part of our life. Empathy always starts from understanding your own self, understanding the feelings and understanding what's happening inside us. And if we are not able to understand our feelings, how do we understand others' feelings? And that lab experience was an amazing experience for me. And that is a real turning point in my life, I feel.
Yeah. So Ashish, now coming to you, please share the turning point of your life.
Thank you, Pankaj. There are two I would like to share here. One is of my early age. Since beginning, I've been a naughty boy, the last bencher in my class, introvert, but always shy of public speaking. If a teacher asked me questions in front of the class, I would, in spite of knowing the answer very well, I was not having the courage to answer it in front of the class. And sometimes when there was a practice in one of the school I studied from KV, Kendriya Vidyalaya. There was a practice. They were calling each of the student in front like a teacher, and they were asking to say something in front of the class. And I was, my heart was beating very fast, and all those things, symptoms. Then I said, "Yeah, what I have to do something about this." So what I did was I started, practicing in front of the mirror, reading newspaper loudly in front of the mirror. घर वाले started understanding me, ये पागल है क्या, बात करता रहता है टॉयलेट में. So I was reading newspapers. I was speaking in front of a mirror. Then slowly started speaking in front of my close friends, 4 5 close friends, school friends. As such, I was a naughty boy. So naughty boys were always having a group. So speaking in front of them, and gradually I developed that habit. And I developed to the extent that when I was in sales, pharma sales, because of my background, I completed my graduation in pharmacy. I was called by my regional heads and the national sales head to explain us any scientific, concept to the regional team. So I started doing that, and from there, the turning point came, and today I'm in L&D. So that is one. Second one is I was gifted a session of Landmark Forum. I'm sure you all have heard and attended the sessions. I was gifted by one of my close, senior. He gifted me a session. I attended the 3 days program. It was very hectic. To tell you, I was staying in Dahisar site, and the program was in Varli. and it used to start at 8 a.m. in the morning. 8 a.m. in the morning start means start, and end at around 8:30, 9 in the night, and again going back to Dahisar, again coming back in the morning, quite hectic. But there, when it gave me a lot of positive things. I understood a lot of things about life, about myself basically. So you're talking of emotions and all. I was also like that, boss ने बोला है सेल करना है, no family, no time for wife, no time for kid. But when I attended the Landmark Forum, I realized कि यार they're very important part of my life. Sale तो ठीक है, that is one part that will give me salary, but this part is also very important. So these were the two turning points which I would like to share. It is a very, very important, and I started doing, positive self-talk, which gave me a lot of confidence, both in terms of public speaking as well as, in other forums as well.
Wonderful.
So that is what two things I
yeah.
wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Ashish, for sharing. Now, Sushil sir, one question was reserved for you earlier. Yeah, Ram, you want to say something?
I think these forums and platforms like ISABs or this forums are really the T group workshops, as they are called.
Yeah.
Forums, they are amazing transformation for people actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ram, more than we share, this is the experience which someone need to really go through. This is
Exactly.
more absolutely the very, very different kind of experience people must go through, I would say. Now coming to Sushil sir, two questions. One is the message which you would like to convey to all our audience and our especially the training forum people there on this 76th Independence Day occasion. Second one is the turning point on which we all were sharing.
Pankaj, suddenly I started feeling very important because on 76th celebration or year of celebration of our Independence Day, you're asking to share one message, just like the Prime Minister is being asked for sharing the message. but for overall community, see, my feeling is very simple: that enjoy the freedom, correct, which we received, correct, being successful in our profession. In the 76th year of independence, isn't it? The time is that we need to work for creating a community where the democratization of learning should take place and people should reach each other without hesitation wherever they find that they can get help. Because many times what I feel that so much so is there in our training community itself, but either we are bound by our own time constraints or maybe sometimes that somebody should approach me, then only I'll talk, isn't it? So the real independence will come only when we all start having that feeling of community around us. So that is one thing, correct. And second thing, turning point, I'm really, you see, that inspired by the turning points shared by Mr. Nitin, Ashish, Ramanathan, and Rachana. For me, if I recall, there are many, because my life has never been a straight road, correct? It has always been lot of turns, right? Sometimes it is just like you say in Hindi, na, that Sarpila car road, isn't it? That there are so many, you can say, turns and many times steep turns also and the U-turns as well, right? So the first turning point, correct, which came in my life is just after my 12th class, when I got selected for B Pharmacy course in Sagar University. Because till 12th, correct, I'm coming from a vernacular media, right? So purely studied in Hindi medium. I was a good student, correct, getting good marks, and during that time, if you are getting 85% and above, correct, you will consider to be a very good student. So in 12th class, I got such kind of number. But as soon as I entered in my B Pharma, I saw entire syllabus. My batchmates, correct, syllabus was in complete English. Batchmates were coming from all convent educated background. And I was all of a sudden started feeling that I do not belong here. And the biggest challenge started coming in that whatever teacher was teaching, I was very good in concept. I was able to understand the concept. But till 12th, I expressed everything in Hindi, in writing also and spoken also. So automatically the class participation was out of the question. And then only thing was that how much I can mug up without understanding, and then going there and just scribbling in the, you can say that answer copy. First sessional result failed in all sessional. And you see that best of two sessional used to get included in your final year examination as well, means results also. And then if people are able to recall, it was 1992. In the month of December, that Babri Masjid demolition has taken place, so all the hostels and everything were vacated. By that time, I failed in two sessionals, so I did not have the courage to go back to home also. Because as soon as you reach your home, parents start asking that कैसा चल रहा है, कैसी पढ़ाई चल रही है. And generally, people have this tendency in our Indian society. After 12th, if your scores starts degrading in college, they all blame that you are in bad friend circle, rather than saying that your preparation level and other thing. There, I met with our chemistry professor, pharmaceutical chemistry professor, Professor Asthana. I still have a lot of regard for him, though he is no more in this world. But whenever I go to Sagar, I make it a point that I visit their family members. Right. He called me at his home and he said that during this difficult times, why you are staying in civil lines? Because I shifted from hostel to one of my friend's house. So that why you are not going back to your family? Then you see that 18 years old, and when someone, and he was that time 52 years old, Professor Asthana. So when you come closer to such a old person, correct, who has seen the life more than you, at the same time, correct, college professor also, so the respect, fear, everything was there. And I started crying in front of him, and I started saying that I'm not dumb, isn't it? I'm intelligent person. You see, if all these things starts coming in Hindi, I will show you that I can top. Right, those kind of things, that a defense mechanism of mine started playing havoc there. And then I realized why I'm saying this many things to him, because he was not reacting at all. He was just listening. That time I was unable to understand, but now when I reflect on that particular thing, it tells me that many times, correct, we do the things to get sympathy from others for our beliefs. Rather than improving ourselves, correct, we want to get sympathy from others. And the similar thing, correct, professor has told me, and he said, Sushil, if you want sympathy from me, you will not get it. But if you want to improve and if you want some suggestion, I can give you, because ultimately it is your life. And I was taken aback, because इसके पहले तक तो सिर्फ ज्ञान मिलता था कि ये कर लो, वो कर लो, वो कर लो, सारी चीजें हो जाएंगी आपकी. Then he told me something, Sushil, to learn any language, 3-4 things are required. Number one, that you need to listen that language. Second one, you need to read that language. And third one, you have to speak that language. And if you are able to do these three things, correct, you will be able to master any language which you want. And that has actually triggered, means a kind of stimulus inside me. This is possible, because I have been fighter throughout my life since my childhood, isn't it? I don't give up easily. When these three guidance came into the, you can say, fore in front of me, I started then looking into the dictionary, daily writing 2-3 words, then mugging up those things. And I tell you that it was not an easy thing, because in the month of January, when the college opened again, people started coming back to the college. I tried speaking in English with my batchmates, and they were making fun of me. And I knew it was a very bad feeling. It was just like that somebody is rejecting you because you don't know English. मतलब it used to happen कि लोग बोलते थे कि चलो इसको बुलाते हैं और इससे इंग्लिश सुनते हैं, ठीक है, थोड़ा सा entertainment हो जाएगा. But that time I realized कि if this feeling, if I carry with me, I will not be able to open up, and maybe if I'm not opening up in college, I may not open up anywhere else. Understanding that pain, I decided to go through the pain. And then slowly that the thing has started improving. And you see that that year examination were a little late, so I got some more time for the preparation. First year cleared all the paper, second year cleared all the paper, third year cleared all the paper, fourth year cleared all the paper, stood the third in the order of merit, right? Then qualified GATE with 95 percentile, and then done my M-Pharmacy in, you can say, scholarship. So that was my first turning point, because it made me realize that nothing is impossible if you decide, and not only deciding, but someone should be there, correct, who can tell you that getting success doesn't require any big formula or anything. He should tell you the basics. Like for language, if you want to improve language, listen the language, read the language, speak the language, write the language, isn't it? It's so simple. Only thing is that if somebody tells us this particular part. And the second turning point, correct, which came in my life is moving from sales to training. I was working with Dr. Reddy's lab that time, and assessment center happened, and I happened to be selected in the assessment center. And in that assessment center, after qualifying, I got the opportunity to work in cross functions, because they were having a plan of around 6 to 9 months. Those people who are selected in the assessment center, they should understand each department of the industry, means in which the organization is working. There I got the exposure of around 3 weeks project kind of a thing in project management, 3 weeks in logistic, 3 weeks in procurement, right? 3 weeks, correct, seeing the HR operation in API, 3 weeks operations in sales. And when I was going through this all the aspect, isn't it? It made me realize that ultimately revenue generation takes place when medical representative meets with the doctor, because that is where my understanding of the business model started coming in. And second business model is that is in the back end operation that works purely on the efficiency, means cost saving, isn't it? And the front end operation is basically on the effectiveness, and you cannot have you can have standardized operation in the back end because you can bring efficiency, but effectiveness that is in front of the operation comes only when the quality of interaction is better. And that is where I realized a lot many things organization does, correct, in the name of training, but the real training doesn't take. And I realized that most of the time, if we look at the training structure, it was more of a tick mark activity, because the agendas were directly copied from multinationals, isn't it? A lot of emphasis, like your 80-90% part of the agenda was on the product training, correct, making specialist people into the product. That is very important, but those all were the research product, and nobody can provide the information on those products other than the representative.
Now the last question before you leave. I know you need to go at home also. The last question is what brings you in training? What brings you in training and HR? This is the one, and second last is this is a thankless job. How do you feel when others are appreciated and you see that because of your contribution others are appreciated?
Okay, so as I told you, I made this mission statement that I want to transform lives. So that is how I came into training. Something I always, heard my father. My father was a very good speaker. So I was always inspired by him कि मुझे इनकी तरह बोलना है. So, and when I came into pharma, I saw, that training is one of the function wherein, you can contribute a lot through your knowledge and training other people and making difference in their, results, what they get. So that is something, which I got inspired to come into training. The moment I came into training, I contributed for quite, some time, I think 8-10 years. And Then I got motivated towards joining, core HR function, because I felt that, expansion is also important. Being a specialist in one field, and then, for me, learning is very important. So I always wanted to expand myself. So after doing 8-10 years of job in training, there was nothing new which I was doing. And so for me, it was important that I learn some new thing. So I moved into HR operations. And from HR operations, I diversified myself as HR head, and then I diversified into L&D. And so, I expanded myself. So that was something, the expansion, the learning, and my mission statement of transforming lives. That is something which has helped me, because I think as a HR professional in L&D, directly impact lives into many ways. So whether it is the performance management of the people, whether it is motivation through rewards and recognition, whether it is building capability of the people through learning and development, whether even if we are doing, consequence management, somewhere we are helping people to find their ways. Many a times, pain is the greatest motivator. And in many ways, by acting on the motivation and demotivation of the people, by creating fear, by creating pain, by creating happiness, we transform lives of the people. And I think, in HR is what we are able to do. So that helps, that has helped me to come into HR and training. And you say that, it is a thankless job, but I have never felt so. I have never felt that it is a thankless job. See, in any kind of job, you may feel that you have come to a stage where you are feeling stagnant. So that is your own feeling. And so you need to expand. You need to bring in some more elements into yourself so that you get motivated. But, in any job, there will be times where you'll be thanked. There will be times when you will not be thanked. But when you are sincerely bringing about a difference in the, whatever work you do, whether it is through bringing about, some happiness into the lives of the people, some change into the lives of the people, or, some difference in the lives of the people, people will always be thankful to you. So even if I have, laid off people, those people still, don't have any hard feeling for me. And they still remember me. We are still in touch, because somewhere, I have been able to help them to get some direction in their life, or some, happiness in their life through some other means. So I don't think it is thankless job. It is one job which, actually brings lots of impact into the lives of the people. So I don't consider it as a thankless job.
Very good. So last question to Rachana, and then after that you can leave. Share, few attributes of a successful L&D training or HR person.
Okay. So, there is no success formula as such, but I think in any kind of profession or in any kind of role, whether even if you are a mother, whether you are a parent, whether you are a child, whether you are a citizen, or you are working or not working, but there are few things which are required for any human being, to surpass some challenging situations in life and to consider yourself as a winner. And those are, first is, you should have resilience in yourself or perseverance in yourself. You are going to have challenges in your life. And no one can say that, they had a life without any challenges. Only thing is, the depth of the challenge can be different and the type of the challenge can be different. But when you're facing those challenges, always keep yourself positive and motivated that this shall also pass. And this is not something which is going to be permanent. Keep yourself very positive. Create a plan for at that time. Think coolly what can be done in this kind of situation. Strategize, work hard, and don't lose your confidence at that particular time. When you keep all this thing, any kind of challenging situation can be overcome. Second thing is be passionate about anything you do. You just love it. When you're doing it, keep your whole body, heart, mind, soul in that. And you will see that, the results, what you can bring out will be transformational. It can bring transformation in anything. And, बहुत सारी चीजों में मैंने देखा है कि जब आप पैशन के साथ करते हो ना, you suddenly motivate others to do it. When you don't do it with passion, देन आप चाहे कितना भी अच्छा काम कर रहे हो और आप उसको फील नहीं कर रहे हो, तो आपके चारों तरफ के लोग भी उसमें मोटिवेट नहीं होते। बट द मोमेंट यू ब्रिंग, लाइक आई सेड दैट जब सर सेशन लेते थे तो हम लोग मोटिवेट हो जाते थे। आई हैड सीन few of the trainers, like I have always been inspired by Mr. Surya Narayana's training or Mr. Anil Nair's training. And in HR profession also I have been inspired by many people, like Mr. Vinod Rayar or Mr. Ashish Gupte. These are the people who have been great influencers in my life, because these people, when they are doing something and when you observe them or see them doing it, you feel that they bring out some positivity, something which is different. And so whenever you are doing it with that whole heart, body, mind and soul, anything can be transformational and it can impact lives. And the third thing is, which I feel, whatever you're doing, try to innovate on it. Always try to think कि इसमें और नया क्या लेके आ सकते हैं. जैसे I see, you keep doing lots of podcasts or new things. पहले जो करते थे और अभी करते थे, काफी नई चीजें आप करते हो, तो that is also inspiring. So similarly, I also think कि मैं अब और क्या नया कर सकती हूँ या किस तरह से इसको और better बना सकती हूँ. The moment you think about that work, will definitely give some different result. So I think for me, there might be many things, but अभी मुझे ये 3 चीजें याद आ रही हैं जो कि मतलब कोई अच्छा रिजल्ट प्रोड्यूस कर सकती है, and it can bring out happiness and motivation for everyone and success.
Very good. Yeah, great. कुछ लास्ट में रचन जाने के पहले कुछ सुनाओगी नहीं बढ़िया सा?
Actually, I have not written anything from many days. So, what you want to listen? First, you tell me that.
नहीं, कुछ भी रश्मि रथी से या कहीं से भी सुना दीजिए, जो भी आपको फेवरेट और टॉप ऑफ द माइंड याद आता हो. अच्छा, मेरे को वो भी बड़ी सोफिया लॉरेन की वो लाइन्स भी बड़ी याद आती हैं. Which you remember during the valedictory, we used to say that it's not the end of the life. God look from the top and says, "Darling, smile. It's just a bend of the life, not the end of the life."
Okay.
Or anything, whatever comes to.
Okay. This is not related to what we are saying, but then, this is something related to, the aspect of the life, how we get clinged, how we cling to our, anything what is there in our life. Just recently I had been to my hometown and I was there with my in-laws, and I felt, and suddenly a few things came to my mind, so which I penned down. कि इंसान को दीवारों से भी हो जाता है अक्सर प्यार. इंसान को दीवारों से भी प्यार हो जाता है अक्सर, तभी बढ़ती उम्र के साथ छोड़ नहीं पाता वह अपनी जमीन, अपना घर. उन दीवारों पर टांग कर तस्वीरें अतीत की बार बार जीता है अपनी यादों. उन दीवारों पर टांग कर तस्वीरें अतीत की बार बार जीता है अपनी यादों को. रोजगार की तलाश में बिछड़े बच्चे और बच्चों के बच्चे के आगमन की तैयारी करता है साल भर, पर छोड़ नहीं पाता अपनी दीवारें, अपना घर. So this is how we cling to our memories. और किस तरह से हमारे अपने लोग छूट जाते हैं, लेकिन हम वो पुरानी चीजें, अपना घर, जो कि मटेरियलिस्टिक चीजें हैं, लेकिन हम उनको छोड़ नहीं पाते हैं अपने लिए. उनसे भी प्यार हो जाता है इंसान को.
बहुत बढ़िया.
I can very well correlate this with my parents who are back home, there in their native town. I can very well correlate.
True. I think all of us can correlate with our parents, and for them it's very difficult to change themselves. They just don't want to change themselves and leave it, because there's so much of memories attached to those things. So
रचना ने थोड़ा सेंटी कर दिया हम सब लोगों को ना. वो 2-3 लाइनें चल रही है ना आजकल. एक दिन मैं बनूंगा बड़ा आदमी, ये तसव्वुर मुझे सताता रहा, है ना. गांव मेरा मुझे बहुत याद आता रहा. समथिंग ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट, जहाँ से हमारी जो रूट्स जुड़े होते हैं ना. आज भी मेरे को लगता है सुशील जी को सागर की वो चाट वाले वो चौधरी जी की जो गुजराती नमकीन.
सही बात है, वो हम भूल नहीं पाते हैं.
तो वो चीजें हमको कभी मतलब पूरी उम्र भर तक याद रहती है ना. तो वो कभी नहीं होता वो. बट रियली वेरी गुड. मुश्किल है। और ठीक है, वो यादें अच्छी होती हैं, मतलब मैं उसको बोलता हूँ कि मेमोरी लॉग, लर्निंग लॉग पुरानी है ना, कभी कभी उसमें जिंदगी जी लेना अच्छा होता है। Yeah, Sushil sir, coming back to you. We were missing your that last piece you were sharing there because of the connectivity issue.
Yeah. So the turning point, the second turning point I was talking about, you see that in Dr. Reddy is correct, when I started getting this exposure to this thing. So the front end part was the effectiveness, isn't it? Back end part was the efficiency aspect, right? So there I started realizing that the revenue generation takes place. So the business model understanding has taken place. And then one of my senior colleagues has asked me that now your this entire tenure of 6 to 9 months of different function is over. Now, where you would like to be posted now? And I said it training. And that time my age was 27 years. And you know that what is the response which I got? I got the response that हिंदी में उन्होंने बोला तुम जवानी में क्यों बूढ़े होना चाहते हो? Because during those time, if you see and look at the training department, isn't it? It was actually manned or headed by people, correct, who have gray hairs, right? So when I said 27 years, at the age of 27 years, so then I said, this is not the means point. But during this 6 to 9 months of period, I came across one of the McKinsey consultant, correct, who was with me in the logistic this thing in the project. And he told me something very unique. And that time it was a big insight for me. So he used to bring format on a daily basis. And he used to give it to the logistic team that we want this data in this format. And then calling everybody, doing the discussion, and then taking the answers from them and feeding it back to them. Then I asked him one question. See, from where you get these formats? And it was in evening time, after office hours. Then he said, Sushil, you know, whatever happened 15 years back in the Western pharma world, actually that starts happening after 15 years in this side of the world, that is India. So it created a further curiosity. So, and that time in 2002, 2003, people used to talk a lot about business model, revenue generation. So I asked him a question, what are the different type of business model in pharma? And then he said that Western country has seen the product-based model, research-based model, and that time CRM-based model was running very high in the Western countries. That is the customer relationship management and all kind of activities around the customers, bringing new brands and everything. And then he started saying now in Western world in 2002, people are now working on capability building model, which sooner or later will come in India also. And then I thought that anything, if it is coming in future, at this age, why not enter? Because now the sea is little calmer. So that let us enter now. And you see that after 3 or 4 months of that indecision, I was given a chance in training, but not in the same company, because in the same company, they were asking me and insisting me to come into the creative departments like marketing or such thing. And I was just deferring the decision. So I met with someone, correct, who was looking for a person in training. And that made me to join Nicholas Piramal as a zonal training head, that is the business training manager in 2003. So that is how this turning point from that particular, you can say, thought process has came to the training. And if I'm allowed and time permits, the third turning point, the biggest turning point which has taken place, when I designed my first behavioral training program in Torrent, where the problem statement was that there were some very good salespeople, highly successful, age around 40 to 45 years, isn't it? And highly process oriented people, but they always deny the promotional opportunities, isn't it? And one of our vice president at that time, correct, he said, Sushil, can you design something for them so that they get influenced to take promotion? And during that time, you see that various kind of things were happening in the industry, union issues and other things. And people used to have this fear statement that people will be promoted and then they will be asked to go, right? So very innocently, I went to vice president and I asked them that what is the purpose of promotion, because they are contributing wherever they are, isn't it? And they are giving their best. Then the answer which I have got, actually, that has changed my thought process completely. He told me, Sushil, these people are my best people right now, correct, in the sales. And if they do not take up higher responsibility, how they will nurture the next generation of the salespeople under them? Isn't it? And then he told me this is how the culture gets transformed. So if I do not stimulate as a leader to take the higher responsibilities, it means I am feeling somewhere in my leadership.
Great.
So that is where correct. That turning point has led me to learn more about the human behavior, isn't it? Learn more about the psychology of people, and creating more programs, correct, which are influencing the behavior rather than only focusing upon the hard aspect of the profession. So these are the three major turning points in my life.
Great. Thank you so much, sir, for all the wisdom, experience you shared here on this podcast. Now we have Sriharsh Kaushik also. Sriharsh sir, can you please come on the screen? So you're on mute.
Hi,
You're on
Sriharsh.
mute.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Sriharsh.
This is a surprise element, I think.
Come again?
This was a surprise element.
Yesterday when he told me that he's trying to connect all of us, I said I'll try and make it. Come what may, I will try and be there. So I'm also unprepared. You can fire. I'll try and feed in as much as I can.
Yeah. So let me confess first, in front of everyone, Sriharsh Kaushik is the one, who really inspired me to become a trainer. And thank you so much for being into my life. And I do not know how many people, we all inspired, but this is what the inspiration I got from you. And you sowed the seed in my mind and the heart to become a trainer. Thank you so much. Now, the first question, couple of questions to you before we move ahead with this other questions. Your message on the 76th Independence Day to the audience. This is number one. And second one is the one turning point of the life which you would like to share with everyone. You have been to so many, organization as a head of training. You have seen so many ups and downs. Everything. Now you're into the journey of the freelancing and all, and you are successful also. And the most important thing is you are very, very, very successful in many other things. Which we all would like to learn from you. Yeah.
When people ask me that give a message and all for independent, it makes me shiver a bit. I would say that we need to find independence from certain vices that we have internally, and what is it that we'll be able to give up. So at this time and frame in mind, I'm trying to get as detached as I can with everything. So stay in a state of flow, and you know, uh, I'm trying to reduce my expectations from what the next day brings in, what other people bring in, and just enjoy that independence of being in a flow. So that's my message. I don't know whether I've been able to. I mean, it sounds a little crazy, but that's the state of mind that I'm in currently. So no bigger message. Find independence from certain things that bind you and restrict you and limit you from being who you are. So that would probably be my message. Turning point. Uh, See, me also getting into training, you get inspired by somebody. So I had attended an OPPI program in the year 1994, 95. It was organized. I was a misfit. All the HR heads and GM HR were there. I was a frontline manager, and I was sent in to this program. And there was this trainer with the erstwhile Hex Mario Russell. His name was Jagdish Ghosh. I have never met him after that, unfortunately. But I looked at him, and he conducted this week-long program in Lonavala, and I was just it's like falling in love with what he's doing, and I said I want to do this. And I think that was one major turning point, in the sense that I'm a physics, math, stats graduate. Absolutely, that there was no MBA that time. Communication was pathetic, and this desire that I need to become a trainer came in, and I went and told my training manager, Rahul Bandyopadhyay, who was the head of training. I mean, the training manager at Organon. I went and told him that I want to get into training function. Tell me what. I'm ready to move to Calcutta also, but I want to do this role and this function. And he said, no, 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 you cannot do it in this life. You're lucky that you got a promotion. You're an area manager, a young area manager of Organon. Forget it. Take another life and come back. This life you won't be able to do it. And that no, that I will not be able to do something. I think also, I mean, it's not you get desire with someone that I want to do it, and then they block you by saying that you take another life. And that push changed something, drastically changed in me, because till then I was not thinking of doing an MBA. I was not thinking of, I thought that I was God's gift to mankind. I mean, I got promoted very quickly. I was a rich kid because I had started cable network while I was in college and things like that, to make money. So this job also actually had no relevance. Getting paid 1375 monthly salary when you're making an income out of cable, which is 12,000 bucks a month. That job also was not something that was gripping. But the moment that seed comes in that you can't do something, and to do something you'll have to probably change and transform yourself, has been a very important turning point. So I thank Rahul for saying that you can't do it. I thank Jagdish Ghosh for just inspiring me to become a trainer, and and finally the Almighty to give me this fantastic journey. So it's been now almost 23 years that I've been looking after the training function and managing it at various levels, and truly enjoy what I'm doing. So the turning point is that no, that you can't do it, was a big push that came up. So I think I hope I've answered that briefly and quickly.
Amazing. So I don't know. Someone said that I would like to thank all those people who said no into my journey. I don't remember the name of that person. There is some poem or something is there. I'm not coming on the top of the mind right now. But yes, thank you so much for sharing here, sir. Amazing, journey. And the most important thing is you are full of passion, energy, and keep on going to various places. And I will love to see your all the pics and lovely, the things which you keep on sharing and energizing and sharing the energy with all of us.
I'm glad to have all of you in my life, and I'm glad to have this life. So I think today it's a flow. Whatever happens, I think I pray to him. There's another point that I wanted to I will share with you all. There's another thing that has happened in this journey after I quit. I became a doctor on 21st of June this year. I completed my PhD. And it is in the training and development space. So to be able to achieve this road and path, I think that it's not a turning point, but to get here, I think that refusal was a no, that you can't do it, and you will not survive in this B pharmacy and the medical world, and you will not be able to stand. And today I can fake that I'm a doctor, and half the people will probably get confused whether I'm a medical doctor or what. I feel qualified. I mean, I understand medicine after these 32 years, 33 years in the industry. I understand medicine quite well, but I've got a PhD in training. So it's a fun field. So sometimes nowadays when I send my proposals, two companies I did that. They wrote to me as Mr. Kaushik or whatever. I wrote doctor and send it back. I thought they will not notice, but each one of them noticed. And so today on the call, when they call you Dr. Kaushik, I keep smiling. So that's on a lighter note, I wanted to share that with everyone.
Yeah. So congratulations for being a doctor now. Yeah. So now Nitinji, share few attributes of a successful trainer, and anything whatever comes to your mind from your experiences.
Yeah, very standard response. It may sound very standard response and very cliched one, Pankaj, because We talk communication skills. But for any trainer or L&D person, communication is important. And many of us have this illusion that we communicate very well. Frankly speaking, my experience tells me that there are many, because our communication is very crucial, because we are going to impact the lives of the people we are training. And if we take that seriously, now the communication is not just what we understand, the core of it. What I'm saying, your tactical communication, your strategic communication, all aspects of communication. So communication in general, I'm not restricting it to only skill part. So your willingness to communicate, your willingness to listen to people is a huge part of communication. I am telling you today, we all need to listen more than speak. So that's what I think the change that we all as a trainer need to make. That's one. Second, I think that we need to be more bold. I call it audacious. We need to be audacious. So for example, we do the same training program, same design, because it is safe to do it. We don't want to come out of comfort zone. It's like a training idea which you look at from different angles, and you don't think about the risk involved much. Okay, at this stage. So initially, a lot of courage is involved in designing a program, in looking at a program, in planning a program. So I think we need more courage so that we move from the beaten path and do something different and stand out in this the world of stiff competition L&D. That's one thing. Second thing, as I said, communication. So the third thing is empathy. Because whenever we design training program, it's all about us. No, it's not about us. As you all know, it's not a rocket science, but it's about them, the audience. What is it that you want to leave them with? Because yesterday I was talking to someone. He said, "What is a good trainer or a good speaker for that matter?" I said, anyone who comes out feeling, or audience when comes out saying that this trainer was smart, then you have lost it. You have lost it, Pankaj. Because you're not there to come across as a smart person. You're there to make audience smart. They say, we don't like people who are brilliant, frankly speaking. We like people who make us feel brilliant. So that's what we're supposed to do. We should be focused more on the audience, more on the trainers. So these are, I think, the three important, and then empathy is a big factor. And that is, it's about them, not about you. Take that you out of the equation, and then you become a different trainer in a different league. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Very, very valid point that making other feel important, that's what the key to success. Thank you so much. But it's really very much difficult to depart from this and understand this difference, and not understanding, implementing in your existence, when you are actually doing or conducting something. Thank you so much, Nitinji. Very, 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 unique point you shared. Now coming to Ram.
Pankaj, sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. No, you said making others feel important is not difficult. I'll tell you why. Because it's today, if you read this, how to influence friends and win friends, influence people. I think one of the principles listed there, and I'm not quoting it because I read it. I have been doing it for all through my sales life also. Is the other person is important. Place his interest above your interest, and then you find you develop engagement, you develop relationship with the people. Now, I was recognized as a legend in Pfizer. Ram may be aware of it in 2003.
Yes,
About 21 legends in the history of Pfizer. I don't talk about it much. I'm just quoting it in the context of this fact. There in the citation, I was asked, what is it that has worked for you? And I would always say it was my putting the doctor and his ecosystem, his family above my interest. And that's what I think is the factor responsible for what a relationship I have with my customers and people around, not just doctors. It's always about the other person. When I'm talking to anyone, it's about the other person. It's not about me. So I end up knowing more about the other person than other person knowing more about me. So I would really appreciate someone who knows more about me than I do about that person. Then I would say, yes, he's there. He's trying to be different. And it comes to me naturally. Thank you. Sorry, back to you.
No, wonderful. Thank you so much for the value addition again. This difference, I normally see in the top leaders. The moment you meet them, the moment you talk to them, they ask you so much about your family, about each and every member of your family, and then they make you feel so important. And that is why this is one of the attribute of any leader, they feel is so important, and everybody, all the employees feel that I am more closer to my, this person as compared to other people. And eventually, if you see that everybody is so closer equally, right? So thank you so much for sharing this. Ram, coming to you, why a learning leader or a trainer or a L&D person should keep on learning? I did my ISTD, that is okay. I am a successful trainer. I did my this certification, that certification. But why it is important to keep on learning always? Because you are having so many, the certifications, learning, and you are implementing. The most important thing is that. So please throw some light on this, which will be very helpful for all our viewers.
Yeah. See, as a trainer, we expect our trainers to learn. And when you expect your trainers to learn, I think you should learn on your part. So walking the talk. When you walk the talk, then you are able to. You really mean, and you are able to connect with the audience much better. Now, when Nitin ji was talking about how you make the participants feel great about themselves, that's an essence of being a great trainer. I can't agree more on that. That the famous quote: "You're not the sage on the stage, giving gyan to people," and that's not training. You are a guide by the side, helping people understand what they are, and that's the essence of a great trainer, and that's very important. I mean, going back to the other question you asked, what drives you in this thankless environment? So I partly agree with Rachana saying that why do you feel it's a thankless job? Okay, I mean, there are two parts of it. Yes, for me personally, if you look into the day I found the purpose of my life, and let me tell you my purpose of life, having worked in pharma industry for more than 33 years, I have helped people live well with the medicines I sold for 30 years. But I want to help people live well for the next 30 years. I want to help people live well without the need for medicines. And that's the purpose of my life. And if somebody has to live well without the need for medicines, then what is required? It's diet, yoga, meditation, and things like that. And this is my purpose of life. And this purpose of when you are very clear about why you're doing what you're doing, when your why is very clear and it's a very strong why, this is seen reflected in the process, what you're doing. And therefore the sessions I have, I know I make a very deep impact on the lives of people. And that impact I have on the people is what drives me. It's what motivates me.
Yeah.
And they are so thankful to me on that.
Yeah. Thanks, Ram. Sushil sir, are you there? I think there is some network issue with the Ram.
Yes.
Sushil sir, are you there?
Am I audible?
Not very clear, Ram.
Am I audible?
There is some issue with.
1 second. I'm not sure if there's. Yeah.
Hello.
I'll just change my room. I'm not sure if that's because of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking about, when your purpose is very clear, when your why is very clear, that is reflected in what you're doing. And when you know that you have an impact, you have a large influence of people who are attending a program, and that's what drives me. But the other part of it is, when you have a lot of impact on the programs, but definitely there are a lot of people in the organization. Okay, they feel that training is a part of it, and of course, ultimately, when you look at sales, training is not the only contributor for sales. There are so many factors that go into making a salesperson quite successful. So training is just one part of it. But there are many people who may not give you the due credit. But ultimately, that's what can make a person feel thankless. You're not getting the due credit for that. But ultimately, it's the impact I have on others' life, which is actually driving me, and that drive is what pushes me forward. And
Great.
therefore, therefore I feel it's a purposeful life I have, and therefore there's no question of being thankless about this role at all.
Yeah, thanks, Ram, for sharing this. Sushil sir, the most important thing in the life of a training manager or L&D person or a L&D head, how to manage the stakeholders. Right. So success is all mine, failures is all because of, these people are not conducting training without knowing, without diagnosing, doing the proper diagnosis of this, that, and please help us, and this will be immensely helpful for all of us.
I believe in one thing, that a training head should have the courage of asking these questions to the business. When the success was there, did you give that credit to the training? And if you have not given the credit of success to the training, how can you blame the non-performance, correct, on the not training people properly or the need identification kind of a thing? Because I believe in training is not the training department's responsibility. It is a responsibility which needs to be actually taken by the entire organization. Correct. It is not a training department's agenda to train people. And that is why, correct, I firmly believe in, and wherever I go, I always try to create an ecosystem for training where the governance mechanism should come from the top. And in the top means what? The cluster heads, BU heads, isn't it? They should help us in identifying the right training needs. Otherwise, what happens when you do the role analysis of anything, correct, what you find, that is the knowledge, skills, and the attitudes or the competencies which are required, which is more or less are quite a standardized format. But what happens, we forget to bring in the cultural aspect of that organization into the picture. And that is where actually the magic potion creation people miss on. And until unless the business head and the cluster heads comes into the picture in the co-creation of the training agenda, because these people are, correct, who are always on the ground, correct, meeting their people day in and day out throughout the month. And we from the training department feel like how we can not utilize this very much resource which is available with us. So the training department actually need to see from a point of view that they are a part of ecosystem. They themselves are not an ecosystem. So that is one thing, correct, which I firmly believe in. Co-creation is the key, right? And I'm so happy that in the last 5 years, correct, in our training community, people have started using the word. I'm saying using the word co-creation, but how much in the spirit, that needs to be looked upon.
Yeah. Very important.
I think, Sushilji, this co-creation word came into being because of the marketing. They started using it first time, co-creation.
Right.
I think, as you rightly said, applies well to training also. That's for them.
Correct. And you see that we are the part of system. We alone cannot become a system. We cannot go and dictate that this is how the training will happen, isn't it? Until unless that the end objective, that what kind of product our business wants from us. And we should also have the courage to say what we can do and what we cannot do. Correct. If a cluster head calls me and he says, Sushil, my stock returns are increasing, can you conduct a training to reduce the stock returns? I say no. Because the day when I will start doing that, I will become the most sought after consultant in the pharma industry. I will do the training on an hourly basis rather than working for a company.
Great, very good. So start saying no, learning, have the courage to say no. That's the most important one, right? Otherwise, if you just keep on saying yes, you will become, what not. Everybody is everything come on your shoulder, and you will feel frustrated when you're unable to deliver all the yes. Yeah. Now, Ashish, the last question to you, and then we'll go to Sriharsh sir for a very important question. What technologically the things are changing now? LXP, LMS, so much of the technology, all the online learning, mobile learning, micro learning, everything is going on. How does a training manager or a L&D person need to really cope up with all these changes?
Very interesting question, Pankaj. I think the training L&D landscape is changing very fast. बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा तेजी से बदलाव आ रहे हैं. AI is impacting our lives in a big way, big way. It has already started. I am not talking about losing jobs or nothing. No, I am talking about the improvements that we can make in our style of working through the help of AI, different AI tools which are available in the market. So, as a L&D professional or as a L&D head, we, 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 we need to understand the technology. We need to decipher the technology so that it becomes usable for our it is not. We have to decipher it in such a way that it becomes easier for the end user to understand. How can we reach the end user? How can we help the end user in his growth path by using technology? You call it LMA, you call it LXPs, you call it any tool whatsoever. What is the ultimate objective? Our ultimate objective is to reach out to that person in a way that the person understands uh, and accepts that. That is very, very important. Companies can have n number of technological tools for training. If the person for whom it is prepared, if it is thrusted upon that person, they are not going to accept it. If it is jointly through L&D, it is jointly handled with the end user, then definitely technology can be a big a big can bring big benefit for the society and the masses. That is what I feel, and that's what we have been doing in wellness forever.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Now, my question to Dr. Sriharsh Kaushik.
So you are calling Harshudi, that is better.
So the question is, Dr. Sriharsh, you have been a nomad to many places, and you are a hypnotherapist. You are now a doctor in training, and all this. Over a period of time, the decades, what has changed into the overall behavioral aspect of the clients and the customers? This is one, and second one is, how do you fulfill the expectation of a client when the things are very volatile? You're on mute. I think we are unable to hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's but yeah. Okay now. Yeah.
Okay. As far as looking at changes in the behavioral aspects, I think even the content that I sell today to in my programs or whoever I talk to has remained the same. My whole point is that 80-90% of the industry follows a kind of a standard pattern. Help people differentiate a little, uh,
Yeah.
bring some newness. Hello, audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So brings out newness. So I don't know. I just, even today, if you ask me, I have not seen any major changes in behavioral aspects. I started my career with Blue Cross as a training manager. I was the first training manager there. Luckily for me, I was impressed with Jagdish Ghosh, who was in ex Mario Russell, and beyond that, I have never reported onto a training manager in my career. So it's been what do you say, honestly experimenting with whatever comes your way, and that has worked for me. So today also when I'm meeting clients or whoever I talk to, I call spade a spade. There are many things that they would not like. You generally go, and this is 90% of the cases it has worked. You go and work with a medical rep, you work with their frontline manager, and you will realize that that's what I expertise in. Today, I believe I'm a functional trainer. I'm not a motivational trainer. I am not a teacher. I am not a knowledge transferer, or I'm not someone who will create magic. I do two things very clearly. I believe that I am a functional trainer. I teach sales reps to be sales reps and not sophisticated beggars or, for that matter, courier guys. And 90% of the places, companies and systems, they follow a pattern in which they are doing sophisticated begging. So this has been my story from the time that I joined Blue Cross or Unbaxi. The same thing went in Milan. The same thing happened in Cipla. So these are larger organizations that that I've worked for. But you internally look inside and what are we doing to our teams and what are we training them or looking at it, it has remained the same. Another thing that probably today I talk about, and that's how I sell to various clients. I keep telling people what are you doing in training? Are you teaching? Are you downloading knowledge? There's a knowledge transfer, or are you trying to build up skills? Now, if you look and analyze, and this is what I did as a part of my PhD also, you analyze training agendas, you analyze trainings that have been done in whichever organizations. You all are doing, we are doing 90% of the time teaching. We are downloading information. And today with this COVID happening, everything going online, digital things coming in, knowledge transfer is not something that as a trainer I would like to be a part of. Schools, colleges can do it. They can download knowledge today with a phone in their hand. Every question, every small detail of information that you want comes at your fingertip. So I have been telling them that I will create experiences. That's the space that I will operate in. So whether it's a manager, put him through various. I do outbound training through games, through stimulation. Try and create an experience for them. My PhD thesis also has been on this part of that there's a difference between training and teaching. We are all adults. In the principle of adult thing is that you create an environment, create those experiences, and then it's an individual journey, and that has worked probably in the long run. And this probably worked while I looked for a job at Blue Cross was the only place where I applied for a job. But the other places, when they talk to me on my thoughts on training, this is what I've kept saying, that I feel that I will be able to create
experiences. Okay. I think there is some network issue. Yeah.
We lost Sriharsh.
Yes. Okay, no issues. Sir, are we missing anything, Sushil sir, Nitin sir, or Ram, or we are good to wind up now?
It's perfectly all right, Pankaj.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being on this this platform. Really loved the way everyone has shared. I think we should do this. Keep very on the some the regular basis. Maybe once in a 2 month or so, and bring other the people also from the platform, which will keep our platform also live. And for the learning purpose, it's really amazing. Sushil sir, thank you so much. Nitin ji, oh my God, what a plethora of knowledge. Ram and everyone. Ashish, thank you so much.